Top of the morning to everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Um, um, man, I thought about I'm trying something new. Um, for the people that might be looking for some spiritual bread today, I thought I would come on and just let me share some stuff, man. Proverbs is probably my favorite book of the Bible. What's going on, gamer? And and the reason being because there's so much wisdom in it. There's really a lot of wisdom, and no matter how often you read it, you're gonna always see something new, something different. Yeah, the love circle. So Proverbs is the only book in the Bible with 31 chapters. Chapter for every day of the month. That's how you keep track of Proverbs. All right? Like today is the 8th. So, and this happened to be one of my favorite chapters. Man, if I could master chapter 8 of Proverbs, um, I couldn't even phantom what life would be like. I mean, seriously. Okay, so listen to this. Does not wisdom cry out and understanding lift up her voice? She takes her stand on the top of the high hill, beside the way where the paths meet. She cries out by the gates at the entry of the city, at the entrance of the doors. O you men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of man. What's going on, Tim? O you simple ones, understand prudence, and you fools, be of an understanding heart. Listen, for I will speak of excellent things, and from the opening of my lips will come right things. See, this is the thing about sin. In order for sin to tempt you, it's going to have to deceive you. Let me say that again. See, the thing about sin, in order for sin to tempt you, it's going to have to deceive you first to get you in this trap. That's the only way sin can trap you, is you fall for the deceit and the trickery. You see, because everything glitter ain't gold. And that's how sin will come as glitter and you'll think it's gold. Okay? Now let me finish this. For my mouth will, this is verse 7. For my mouth will speak truth. Wickedness. What is wickedness? Evil, negativity. That's what wickedness is, negativity. No matter how innocent and simple that gossip, negative, that is wickedness. When you're running around gossiping on people, can't keep nothing. That's wickedness. But see, the only thing you want to see is same sex as being wicked. See, you don't count them lies that you telling and you living as wickedness because you're getting away with it. See, that's why you don't see it. Now, verse 8. All the words of my mouth with righteousness. Let me read that again. All of the words of my mouth are with righteousness. Nothing crooked or perverse is in them. You see what I'm telling? See, that's what I be trying to tell people. When you live a righteous lifestyle, man, you ain't about the trickery. You ain't about the deceit. You ain't about the dishonesty. That's not your MO. When you live a righteous lifestyle. And you got so many people out here right now presenting a righteous lifestyle, but behind closed doors, they wicked. And they're going to be exposed. And some of them are pastors, prominent pastors, going to start being exposed. Verse 9. They are all plain to him who understands, and right to those who find knowledge. Verse 10. Receive my instruction and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may desire cannot be compared with her. Damn, do you hear what? Listen to this, y'all. Receive my, this verse 10. I'm in Proverbs chapter 8. This is verse 10. Receive my instructions and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things one may desire cannot be compared with her. There is nothing that you can desire that can be compared to wisdom. Your mind can't even comprehend anything that can be compared to wisdom. Now, let me show you how powerful this is. This is verse 12. Our wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge and discretion. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogance and the evil way, and the perverse mouth I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. Now, you got the wisdom, which is the cleverness of God. Now, once you get that wisdom, you're going to have to get understanding as to how to apply it. See, a lot of people got the smarts, but they don't know how to use it. Man, I was I lost my top of the line Apple Watch, 4th of July. And I lost it before I was procrastinating. I took it for granted because it fell off my arm one time in the car, and I thought the same thing had happened again. Because it's really got a shitty band. The Apple Watch has a real shitty band on it. It's too easy to come off. Okay? And you got to put it on real tight. And I don't like my watch tight. You see, so It fell off, and I was telling my daughter. My daughter was saying, Daddy, you ain't even get the full function of the watch. You ain't put it wasn't connected. And see, and this is the thing with sin. See, sin is gonna disconnect you from your source. When you step off into sin, it'll disconnect you. You won't listen. See, we all got default voices. Everybody got a default voice. Multiple default voices that's trying to be the dominant one. And see, and sin is going to deceive one of your default voices. That's how it'll get you to compromise. And that's all sin is. It's a compromise. Let me say that again. That's all sin is. You compromise. Okay? That's what sin is, a compromise. Let's continue. Verse 14. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. Now, listen to my strength. This is verse 15 in chapter 8. By me kings reign, and rulers decree justice. By me princes rules and nobles, and all the judges of the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. Well, truth conductor, when you find understanding, what do you get? Listen to this. This is where I want to be. Right here. This is verse 18. Riches and honor are with me, enduring riches and righteousness. My fruit is better than gold, yes, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I traverse the way of righteousness. That word righteousness again. Remember. Let's go back here. Where was that? I just said about righteousness. Okay, here it is, right here. Here it is. So, remember? See, it says, I traverse the way of righteousness. Okay? This is verse 20. In the midst of the path of justice. But go back and look at, let's start at 7. For my mouth will speak truth. Wickedness is an abomination to my lips. All the words of my mouth are with righteousness. You ain't gonna lie. You ain't gonna deceive. You ain't gonna cheat. When you start walking in your righteousness, see, when somebody make a mistake and give you back more change than you should have, see, when you walk in your righteousness, you say, hey, wait a minute, you made a mistake here, count this again. See, that's when you walking in your righteousness. See, a lot of people see mistakes and count it as a blessing. And it was actually a test. And most folk fail it. Because they interpret it wrong. Because they ain't walking in their righteousness. Verse 20 again. I traverse the way of righteousness, in the midst of the path of justice. Verse 21. That I may cause those who love me to inherit wealth. that I may fill their treasuries. You see, the Bible saying it's right here when you exalt understanding, it says, I may cause those who love me to inherit wealth, that I may fill. That, notice treasuries is plural. That's more than one bank account. That's more than one source of income. If he going if understanding, and see, when that I may cause those, that's an idea. See, when understanding starts causing you to inherit wealth, you got to be in tune to your intuition. And if you got a bunch of garbage up in your head, a bunch of deceit and deception and trickery, you're going to miss the signals. You're going to miss the signals. But see, when you walk in a righteous lifestyle, you catch them. The least little flicker, you're going to feel it. See, you'll notice it because your heart is pure. I didn't say perfect. I said pure. And see, your heart is pure, man, when you ain't got no evil toward any man. Your heart is pure. Verse 22. The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his way, before his work of old. I have been established from everlasting, from the beginning, before there was ever an earth. When there was no death, I was brought forth. When there was no fountain abounding with water, before the mountains were settled, before the hills, I was brought forth. See, you can have all the knowledge in the world you want, but if you ain't got understanding how to apply it, it's worthless. And see, an understanding is telling you, I came first. Before that ever was, I came. And if you embrace me, this is what I'm going to do for you. Verse 26. While as yet he had not made the earth or the fields or the primal dust of the world, when he prepared the heavens, I was there. When he drew a circle on the face of the depth, when he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he assigned to the sea its limit, so that waters would not transgress his command, when he marked out the foundations of the earth, then I was beside him as a master craftsman, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in his inhabited world, and my delight was with the sons of men. Therefore, listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. See, that's what sin will do. Sin will trick you into can't nobody tell you nothing. See, that's what sin will do. Sin will have you where you know it all. Can't nobody tell you nothing. That's how all them people got killed down there in that sub. Because the people was trying to tell this CEO, give him some advice, and he would have none of what they were saying. And it see, therefore listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life and obtains favor from the Lord. But he who sins, this is verse 36, but he who sins against me wrongs his own soul, and those who hate me love death. That's Proverbs chapter 8. And man, listen. Riches and honor. Wait a minute. I love those who love me. And those who diligently seek me will find me. And when you find understanding, understanding is just how you gonna apply information. See, when you understand something, you can break it down to its simplest form. Let me say that again. See, when you understand something, all you're doing is breaking it down to its simplest form so it can be comprehended. That's what you when you are dealing in understanding, all you're doing is making it simple so people can get it, so they can receive it, so they can process it. And seeing the problem with the church today, see, they want you to go back 2,000 years. Some of y'all can't go back to next week, last week. And they want you to live and think how people was thinking 2,000 years ago. But they can't tie today so that people can see the word today. And they ain't got to use their mind to go back 2,000. Hell, I don't know what people was doing 2,000 years ago. I can't even comprehend that. And yet, that's what people always talking about, 2,000 years ago. But I'm living today. Show me how to apply this word to my life today. That's what I need. How do I apply this to me today? Simple, man. Say what you mean what you say. See, you don't have to get out of that wicked lifestyle of lying and deceit. That's why we have a trust problem right now. Because so many people have to use deception to get what they want. And hoping that once it's discovered that it's deception, that it'll be accepted. See, that's why people keep lying. Same thing happened with George Santos up in New York. And he openly said, shit, I was getting away with it, so why not continue? And that's what sin will do. Will let you get away, and you think it's okay because you're getting away. See, when you was sliding up in her house at midnight, you got away with it. Your wife didn't find out. See, you covered your tracks. See, that's how sin gonna do you. Sin gonna help you cover your tracks. But see, what you don't know is it's always gonna leave an opening. It ain't gonna cover you, it's gonna leave a sign. If somebody go back and start looking at what you're presenting, they're gonna always start seeing some discrepancies. That's sin. See, here's the thing about sin. See, you have to keep up with sin. And when you keep up with sin, you stuck. You can't go down the road because you got to keep your eyes on your sin. You See, and not only do you have to keep your eyes on your sin, you got to keep looking over your shoulder to see who's behind you. And what and while you looking over your shoulder, that's how sinners stumble and fall. Because they're looking back. And they can't see what's in front of them. That verse is in that verse is let me find out where that verse. It's in Proverbs too. I think. I think it's in Proverbs. Let's see. Okay. No, it's Hosea 14:19. Okay. What I say? 14 verse 9. Here we go. Um okay, so let me start with verse. I tell you what, let me just start at verse 1. Israel, return to the Lord your God, for you have stumbled because of your iniquity. Take words with you and return to the Lord. Say to him, take away all iniquity. Receive us graciously, for we will offer the sacrifices of our lips. Assyria shall not save us. We will not ride on horses, nor will we say any more to work on our hands. You are our gods. For in you the fatherless find mercy. Verse 4. I will heal their backsliding. I will love them freely, for my anger has turned away from him. I will be like the dew to Israel. He shall grow like the lily and lengthen his roots like Lebanon. Verse 6. His branches shall spread. His beauty shall be like an olive tree, and his fragrance like Lebanon. Verse 7. Those who dwell under the shadows shall return, and they shall be revived like grain, and grow like vine. Their scent shall be like the wine of Lebanon. Verse 8. Ephraim shall say, what have I to do any more with idols? I have heard and observed him. I am like a green cypress tree. Your fruit is found in me. Who is wise? Let him understand these things. Who is prudent? Let him know them. For the ways of the Lord are right. The righteous walk in them, but transgressors stumble in them, and they fall because they don't see where they're going. That's why transgressors, that's what your sin is going to cause, going to give you a false perception of reality. God diggity dog. That's all sin going to do. Give you a false reality. of what the truth is. That's how it deceives you. And sometimes it's going to come as pastor. Sometimes sin going to come to you as pastor. Look how many preachers, man, get caught sleeping with the sheep. And they in the pulpit and screwing out of both legs in the church. And you wonder why we got so much church hurt. I bet you right now, I got 6 people up in here. Half of y'all dealing with church hurt. I bet you half of y'all in here dealing with some sort of church hurt or have dealt with some sort of church hurt. Now, am I right or wrong? And this is the problem, man. This is the problem. But like I told you, you know, see, now, I showed you in chapter 8 about wisdom, but listen to chapter 4. I'm going to start at verse 5. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget nor turn away from the words of my mouth. Do not forsake her, and she will preserve you. Love her, and she will keep you. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And in all that getting, get understanding. See, and all of the wisdom that you get, you got to learn how to apply it, man. You got to learn how to use it. That's the only way you're going to get the maximum out of it. Now, listen to this. Let me go back to verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And in all that getting, get understanding. Verse 8, listen to this. Exalt her, and she will promote you. She will bring you honor when you embrace her. She will place on your head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory she will deliver to you. See, that ain't saying you got to go out here and pay your tithes and offerings. See, you ain't heard one word about tithing. And the Lord say, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And all that getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she will promote you. How's she going to promote you? With an idea. She going to give you an idea that's going to cause riches to come to you. Okay? It says, exalt her, and she will promote you. Let me go back to 8. Listen in chapter 8. I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently will find me. Riches and honor are with me, enduring riches and righteousness. Where you see tithes and offerings at in that? See, because when you live a righteous lifestyle, your heart is going to be open to give anyway, to help your fellow man. See, when you live a righteous lifestyle, you're a giver, man. You're a giver. You ain't no taker. You're a giver. When you learn, and not only are you a giver, you're a server as well. And you got so many people now. See, if it don't benefit them, they don't want to get involved. If they ain't getting something out of it, they don't want to get involved. This is how people are right now. This is the way the world is right now. So I'm telling you, listen to me, people. Listen to me. Watch your thoughts, man. Watch your thoughts. What's going on, Pablo? Watch your thoughts. Okay? Because that's what's going. No, no, I don't work on Saturdays, gang. This is the Lord's Day. I don't work on Saturdays. No, I'm coming here. I'm starting today. I, you know, today I'm starting Saturday in Proverbs. Every Saturday, man. Whatever the date is, we're gonna jump off in the Proverbs, and we're gonna talk about some of this stuff, and you'll be able to see everyday life in this book right here. And the wisest man, Solomon, was the wisest man ever, and no man will be as wise. And you don't want to know what he's talking about and what he said, and this is the wisest man ever. That's the one you want to listen to. All right. And like I said, whatever. Like tomorrow's the ninth chapter of Proverbs. Okay. Now, if you got something out of this, man, by all means, be a blessing to a brother. Okay. If this is something that fed your soul, be a blessing. And this is one of the things wrong right now with a lot of Christians. They don't know how to sow. A lot of Christians don't know how to give. A lot of Christians are have to be manipulated to give. Feel guilty to give. You know, that's how a lot of Christians are manipulated to give, to make them feel guilty, obligated, and still going to the club, still having that affair, but you pay your tithes and offerings, and you think that's gonna cover you, and it ain't. See, there's a serious penalty, man, that comes with you not listening. It's just that you got to give with conditions. That's why the average person that walk up to me and see my bucket, first question they have is, what is the money gonna go to? Well, if you giving from your heart, it don't matter. Because that's the way you gave from your heart. If you give with conditions, that's what you're going to receive. Conditions. See, you're going to always have to do something to get what you want. But when you give freely, freely shall you receive. And this is what people don't understand. Man, they're gonna be a whole lot of people that once they hear my story and realize they have crossed my path, and at the time they crossed my path, they could have been a blessing and didn't. And see, it's gonna come a point where I ain't gonna need no help to get up. I'll be up. And this is what people are trying to say. So now, true conductor, we ain't helping you get up. We not gonna help you. You gotta do it by yourself. That's how you gonna get up. You gonna get up by yourself. We can't help you get up. I don't care how good your ideas are. We can't help you get up. And who you think gonna help you get up? And when I sit down and tell you, man, I got a dinnerware idea that's American made. My idea, I ain't sending my idea to China. I want to create some American jobs right here in America with my dinnerware idea. And it's going to happen this year. I'm going to launch my dinnerware line this year. And I'm going straight to billionaire status. I'm jumping over millionaire status. I'm going straight to billionaire. I'm a gazillionaire. That's who I am. And the Bible say, call those things that be not as though they were, for all you people laughing. See, some of y'all scared to call yourself a gazillionaire. What's a gazillionaire? A rich ass person. That's what a gazillionaire is. A damn rich ass person. You ain't got no needs. And seeing this thing, man, that to help people, they begging. You know, man, that's crap. If what's the use in accumulating wealth if you can't share it? And I ain't talking about giving it to no organizations for salaries. I'm talking about putting it in the hands of people. And call me crazy, but see, I firmly believe if you really doing right by people, you ain't gonna need no security. You ain't got to be having all this stuff. Okay? That see, man, power is when you can walk out in the street no matter how wealthy you are, and ain't nobody gonna fuck with you, and you ain't got no security. That's power. That's respect right there, buddy. When you still, cause see, I'm gonna tell you. See, for all you folk that think I'm supposed to be impressed because you now know who I am, you didn't know me when I was broke. You wasn't trying to find out who I was. You wasn't throwing your panties at me when I was in this hotel room. Why are you throwing them at me when I got money? See, you ain't want to have nothing to do with, and that's how people are. See, when you on your way up, folk don't want to have nothing to do with you. Because you trying to climb, elevate yourself up the set. They don't, most of them don't believe in what you trying to do. But once you achieve what you've been working so hard for, now they believers. See, now they knew that you was going to make it, and that's the one you need to tell to kiss your ass. Gonna come up and tell you, I just knew you was gonna make it. Man, fuck you. Cause when I was struggling, when I was in this hotel, you ain't throw me one lifeline. And now that I don't need this no more, you so proud of me, get the fuck on gone. That's what I tell you. Because the only thing that's done changed about me is my access to cash. See, ladies and gentlemen, when your access to cash change, that's when the people around you gonna change. Let me say that again. See, when your access to cash change, that's when the people around you gonna change. And that's all wealth is, ladies and gentlemen. It's just how much access to cash do you have? I'm coming into money, buddy. I'm coming into money. Money is in hot pursuit of me. I told you, man, the Bible say call those things that be not as though they were. And now that it's some new energy into the earth, man, this is the time you need to be putting as much positive energy with your mouth into the atmosphere as you can. Because some of that stuff is going to start manifesting just like that. The minute you come out your mouth, it's going to become a reality. See, and that's where this world is headed. That your words are going to start manifesting just like that. See, we used to bad things manifesting. Money can't blacken my heart, man. Money can't blacken my heart. Money cannot blacken my heart. Cause I'm not obsessed with money. I want to give money away. I'm the biggest, man. I'm the biggest philanthropist this world has ever seen. That's who I am. I'm the biggest giver this world has ever seen. The biggest giver. And I'm 70 years old. And man, I decree $10 billion. Damn, gonna pass through these hands. I wanted to say 100 billion, but I got scared. So I'll just take 10. I can't comprehend, man, 100 billion coming through my hands to give away. Okay? I I, I don't no, that's the wrong no, that's not true. Cause sometimes it took me a long time to get that money away. Everybody couldn't come up in here. See, when you give money away, like in a script talk, you just throwing it. Man, now, if you go back and look at when I was giving away money, man, it took a long time for me to give it. Because I can sense some bullshit. That's just a gift. I can sense. Man, let me tell you, listen to this, and you'll know. Periscope was owned by Twitter. They shut it down. Elon Musk said he's bringing it back, but it was just another social app that they shut down. But listen to this, y'all. When I don't care who this person is, black, white, or whatever, always remember this. When somebody walk up to you, especially if they look like homeless or drug addict or something, and you know it's something that you ain't comfortable about, and the first thing they're gonna say, "Can I ask you something?" That's the bait. And if you take that bait, it's always going to be some shit behind that question. Okay? Anytime somebody come up and ask you, can I ask you something? Your first response, no. I walked out the hotel one day, and this brother walked up, and I see him hanging around the hotel. And he said, sir, can I ask you something? I said, nope. And kept on walking. I just want to find out the code for the internet so I can read a Bible verse. Like, that's supposed to move me. Man, fuck you. I knew it was some shit. When I walked out there, can I ask you something? No, you can't. And I have a right to say no. And some of y'all scared to say no. And subject yourself to a bunch of bullshit. And that's the first sign of some shit coming to you when they say, can I ask you something? No, you can't. That's the sign you got. Y'all remember that. Anytime a person walk up to you, can I ask you something? It's some bullshit behind that question. And if you want to entertain it, that's your fault. And if you think I'm lying, go back and look at how many times somebody done walked up to you and said, can I ask you something? And you regretted it. You regretted saying yes. You regretted entertaining them because it was some shit. Now tell me I'm lying. I want somebody to tell me I'm lying. And see, in this environment that we're in today, man, you can't be walking around with your damn head in the sand. Let me say that again. See, in this environment today, you can't be walking around with your head in the sand, not paying attention to what's going on around you. Because you got so many other people that are dealing with anxiety and stress. And a lot of folk, and it's getting ready to get hotter. See, it's getting ready to get hotter. And a lot of people tempers are going to be flaring. And see, and you cannot be paying attention, listening to your music in your headset and run into some shit that you regret because you wasn't paying attention. And this is the problem right now. Too many folk ain't paying attention. They ain't paying attention. And they getting hurt. And some of them getting killed because they wasn't paying attention. And oops, I'm sorry. It's too late. All right? Man, I hope this helps somebody today. I hope so. Okay? I hope this helps somebody. You're gonna have to take control. See, you know, one of my old girlfriends used to always tell me, Don, you gotta teach people how to treat you. And it didn't work on her. But she used to always tell me that. And she's right. Man, you have to teach people how you want to be treated. You don't accept any and every kind of conversation. People can't come up and say any and everything to you. See, if somebody come up talking some foul shit around you, they supposed to feel uncomfortable in your presence. And you ain't got to say nothing to them. But they know what they talking about is not acceptable because of the way you carry yourself. And see, when you walk in your integrity, some bullshit you ain't gonna entertain. See, when you walk in your integrity, can't nobody come up and engage you in a conversation about adultery. When you walk in your integrity, can't nobody walk up and indulge you in a conversation about deceiving somebody when you walk in your integrity. You don't want to hear that. You ain't interested in that. When you walk in your integrity, you see a fine woman, you ain't got to turn around and see what she look like from behind. When you walk in your integrity, you enjoy whatever it was that's coming to you, that's what you enjoy. Once it passes you, it's gone. When you walk in your integrity. See, because the minute you look back, compromise. The minute you look back, compromise. And ladies, let me tell you something. See, this is how you can recognize a dude that's got discipline and one that ain't. Watch men, how they react when a pretty woman walk by them. That man with discipline gonna keep on walking. The one that ain't got no discipline, shit, he gonna be looking all back at everything. Uh, I mean, hey, how you can support me financially is it's in the chat. It's in the description, whatever it is. All my Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, all that stuff is in there. And if you want to give, man, by all means, please. I can use the money. I got me 2 more days in the hotel. I got me 2 more days, so I'm good until Monday. I ain't worried about it. When Monday get here, I deal with Monday. And sometimes, and see, that's how the devil tried to trick me. Had me worried because I had to go, and I just started thinking, Lord, thank you that if I can go date, I got the money. That I can go today. And I could save a lot of money by booking a week. But if I ain't got the money to book a week, man, thank you, Lord, for day to day. Thank you for day to day. Because, see, listen to me, y'all. You can't see into your tomorrow, but God can. That's why you have to live for today. Because you can't see into your tomorrow. God is the only one that can see into your tomorrow. And see, and when Satan gets you, Satan is in today. He ain't in your future. He's in today. He gonna cause something to happen to you today. That's what Satan gonna do. And see, and every decision you make has a consequence. Every decision you make has a consequence. And some people have made decisions that have cost them their lives or the lives of their loved ones. And you see, and remember, man, I told you, when the Lord starts causing you to inherit wealth, ain't gonna be no sorrow with that. Ain't gonna be no sorrow with that. Your destiny might not be to have it tomorrow. And look how many people plan for tomorrow and don't live today. But they got all kind of plans for tomorrow. And tomorrow is not promised. And then when you try to share that information with them, They get an offense. Like you've done something, and all you've tried to do is just to enlighten them, to share with them. Stop being so easy to get into offense. Stop being so easy. And I'm talking to myself. Stop being so easy to get into offense. And keep your focus. And that is going to be probably your biggest challenge is to go through some adversity and keep your focus. And when you keep your focus, see, you don't worry. Let me say that again. See, when you keep your focus, you don't worry. You walk in your faith when you keep your focus. And most folk lose faith, and they lose their focus, and they start worrying. See, they start anticipating, and see, and they get all these scenarios that they got going on in their head about what's going to happen or how it's going to happen, and you paralyze. But see, when you keep your focus, even when you're faced with the adversity, you're still proactive, looking for solutions, looking for answers, looking for ideas that will work. See, most folk are trapped into, they don't have any ideas. They scared to get out and try to find a solution. See, they're waiting for a solution to come to them. They ain't trying to find it. And this is the problem with most people right now. See, most folk are sitting back waiting for a rags to riches idea to come to them. They ain't trying to create one. They ain't trying to find one. They want to stumble up on it. See, truth be told, most Christians, that's what most Christians are waiting for, that financial miracle. See, that's what they need, that financial miracle that'll make them debt free, that they didn't have to work for, that God gave them. See, that's what most Christians are waiting for. They ain't trying to get out and create a miracle. They're waiting for it to come. And that's where we're falling short. And that's what people don't believe in miracles no more. They don't believe in them. They don't think they exist. And 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 you can go back to the nun that they just dug up back in Missouri. And she's incorruptible. She's been in the ground 4 years, wasn't bound. And her clothes are still intact, didn't even rot. She's still intact. That's a miracle, man. And a lot of folk miss that. A lot of folk don't see that. A lot of folk, and let me show you something. See, that goes to show you as much pedophilia as they have in the Catholic Church. That goes to show you, out of everything bad, there's still some good in it. Because look at that nun. Okay, for her to be buried 4 years and she didn't deteriorate, decompose, and her clothes didn't rot. Everything around her in the casket rotted, but she was still intact. That's God. That's God right there. I don't care what you say. That's God. And a lot of people don't believe. A lot of people done gave up hope. A lot of people done lost faith because they don't trust no more. And this is the problem we have. People done lost trust. All right? Man, thank y'all for joining me. All right? We'll do it again next Saturday. Okay? And for all of the replay viewers, man, I hope you get something out of this. Because all I try to do is speak from the heart. You know, most of the examples that you're gonna find people give ain't on their life. They'll give you examples about what happened in other people's lives. But see, if you can talk about something, why ain't that example on your life? Whatever you're discussing, you should be able to show an example in your life. I told y'all, man, I took it for granted. I took God for granted that I wouldn't lose my Apple Watch, and I lost it. I took God for granted. I just knew, man, my watch fell off in my car. And my intuition told me, go back. And I said, it's in the car. I'm gonna step out on my faith, man. It fell off in the car. And I was wrong. Because I didn't follow my intuition. My intuition told me, go back. But I took it for granted. And see, there are so many people that their intuition has told them, man, go back. Go back. And they took it for granted. And some folk don't recover. Some folk don't recover when they lose. Thank you, man. I tried. I tried. Because if you can't be genuine with yourself, how can you be genuine with somebody else? When you can't even be genuine with yourself. And you got so many people, man, that they got all these masks they get behind, pretending to be. And it's all a farce. And see, and you know, like, if you're gonna be able to advise somebody on a situation, you should be able to at least show where you have experienced it. I see people never been married, and some of the biggest marriage experts that people listen to. They got all kind of relationship advice, but they never been married. Now, why is that? If and there's somebody for everybody, but how come you can't find nobody? I tell you why. Because you got a lot of bullshit with you. Don't nobody want to put up with your freakish ways. That's why you by yourself. Yeah. When you're in public, You act like you got it on, but when you get behind closed doors, you're a certified freak. And don't nobody want to put up with that shit. That's why you by yourself. And see, people are afraid to tell you that. That's why you by yourself. Cause you can't get rid of the most freakish ass ways you got. And you expect for somebody to put up with that shit. And they ain't gonna put up with it. And that's the problem. See, a lot of these people that y'all running around here holding up in high esteem and idolizing some of the biggest freaks in the world. Some of the biggest freaks in the world. A lot of them entertainers, athletes, some of the biggest freaks in the world. Because, see, it's that sexual energy that drives them. And if you notice, any person that is successful is highly sexual. That's the realm they thrive in. That's where they get their creativity from. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. But see, most folk don't put that in consideration. Most folk don't think about it like that. I'm serious. And some of the biggest freaks in the world be walking by you every day. Walk by you every day. And looking just the opposite. And some of the biggest freaks in the world. And you got some guys that can pick that stuff up just like that. They can look at someone. There's a freak right there. She's a freak. They can look at her. And something about the traits, they pick it up just like that. And that's what you have to always be mindful of. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the problem. See, you got especially, man, I feel sorry for a lot of the people that have to date today. Because you got to deal with so much deception, so much deceit, so much trickery. Because people are not honest about who they are. They're going to trick you to like them. And this is why we don't trust, because we got too many people tricking folk just to like them. And get offended when you find out the truth. And think you're supposed to dismiss it because now they done proved that they're a likable person, but you did it under false pretense. Thank you, brother. See, this is the problem. Folk getting stuff under false pretense think they're entitled to keep it. Look at Santos. Got elected to Congress under false pretense, and in his mind, he has every right to stay in that seat. Give me a chance to see what I can do, to show you what, but you lied to get there. And now you think you're entitled to stay there. And this is what's dividing us. Because we got too many people pretending to be something that they ain't. And see, and those are the ones that'll meet destruction, that are pretending to be something that they're not. Those are the ones that will destroy themselves. Those are the ones that will suffer depression. Those are the ones that are suicidal because they're pretending to be something that they're not. And if you go back and look at the LGBTQ lifestyle, all of them people are pretending to be something that they're not. It's just that simple. And that's what sin will do to having you pretend to be something that you're not. And I'm supposed to accept it. I ain't supposed to question it. See, because you walking around with a wig on and some lingerie and you got a dick, I ain't calling you no she. You're a fucking he. Confused he. That's what you are. Shit, I got as much of my mama energy as my daddy. It takes male and female energy to create your ass. And it's up to you as to which energy you gonna entertain. That's up to you. Talking about you born this way. Hell, everybody born with a man and a woman. What's so unique about that? And just as much of my mama is in me as my daddy. Because both of them had to come together to create me. And I can either entertain my daddy's energy or I can entertain my mama's energy. And they different. That's my choice. I wouldn't see all these jokers talking about they was born that way. Bullshit. You weren't born that way. That's what you chose. Oh, your mama didn't. What you want the immaculate conception? A man had to put his dick up in there for you to come out of. That's how you got in your mama. See, and some people are offended. But you sure be trying to get that nut. You sure be trying to get it. And some of y'all are addicted to them nuts. That's why you sex freaks. That's why you addicted. Because you got to release that energy. And see, and we don't want to talk about that kind of stuff, man. See, people want to go around and pretend. But what baby didn't come from a man and a woman? Even them lesbians, in order to conceive, they got to go to another man. They can't pull that egg out of a woman. They got to go to a man to get that egg, to conceive. But I thought you was born that way. And see, and the Bible say everything God produced can produce after its own kind. If God made it, it can produce after its own kind. And notice the LGBT look to be them gays, they gotta go to the heterosexual pool to replenish. That's why they messing with your kids. So they can restock. And they starting early. See, give me a break, man, of you being born that way. Now you chose that way. You weren't born that way. You was born just like everybody else, a man and a woman. And like I said, as much of your mama energy is in you as your daddy. And either you gonna submit to that male energy or you gonna submit to that female energy. There's no in between. There's no gray. It's either male or female. Those are the two energies that was needed to create you. And you going go to one or the other. And it's all about what you're comfortable with. And personally, I could give a damn who you want to screw. Cause that ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't going I ain't got to account for none of that. When you close your eyes, you gonna have to deal with that shit, not me. I don't give a shit how you live. I'm trying to keep my shit straight. Now I can tell you, you don't want to listen, God bless you. But when you close your eyes, dhfolden ain't gonna have to deal with that shit. When I close my eyes, I got to deal with my shit. I ain't gonna have to deal with your shit. I'm gonna have to deal with my shit. I'm gonna have to be accountable for me when I close my eyes. And see, and a lot of people think that's a joke. Oh, when I'm dead, I'm dead. But your spirit is still alive. Your body might be dead, but your spirit is still alive. And see, let me tell you something. Funerals are a testament to who people touch. Let me say that again. See, funerals are a testament to who people touch. Them people that touched a lot of folk, massive funerals. And some folk ain't nobody there. See, your funeral is gonna be your testament to who you touch. That's gonna be your testament. Who you touch at your funeral. That's when people gonna know how you live at your funeral. And if you was a kind, giving person, your funeral is gonna reflect that. If you was a nasty, evil person, your funeral is gonna reflect that. And a lot of people don't realize, man, your funeral is gonna reflect your lifestyle. That's what that's what gonna tell people about who you were. Your funeral. And we all got to die. We all got to die. But your funeral is gonna tell your relationship with people. All right? A lot of y'all ain't thought about that. Damn, truth conductor. Shit, I ain't thought about it like that. Who coming to your funeral? How many people gonna celebrate you? Anybody gonna miss you? Anybody gonna cry for you? Anybody gonna celebrate you? So that's a question for a lot of y'all. And we all got to deal with it. That's one thing can't nobody avoid. Is death. We all got to die. But what's going to be your testament? What's going to be the legacy that you leave? And to some folk, it ain't even important. All right? Man, thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining me. I hope somebody got something out of this. Okay? I hope you got something out of it. I hope it's something that will stimulate your thinking to make you look at things maybe a little differently. You know, have a little bit more compassion. Have a little bit more understanding. Because man, we all make mistakes. All of us make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We're going to make mistakes. But the question is it deliberate or is it an accident? Because some people make mistakes deliberately. Okay? And that's what you had to keep your eye on. I told my grandson, Roberta Flack is his great aunt. And they never met. Never met. And his father didn't, try to expose him to his side of the family. And I told my grandson, I said, listen, man, the musical gift ain't on my bloodline, it's on your bloodline. And I said, she ain't got no children. When she died, that musical gift is gonna die with her. And it don't wanna go with her. And you're the last flack. It's gonna come to you. Man, my grandson, actually a pastor, taught my grandson how to play the piano. He went to school for the trumpet, but he was taught by a pastor how to play the piano and the organ. That's how he learned. I mean, when he was young. And I said, son, see, the musical gift and all of the melodies were in her piano. And because you are flack, you will be able, and you know how to play the piano. Now you can convert those melodies to the trumpet. And they're compatible because you're a flack. So the musical gift is going to come to you. And I said, pay attention. When you listen to her music, pay attention to what you playing in your head. That's where the magic is. The magic is not in her music. The magic is him listening to it and him playing it. That's where the magic is. And he, and I understand he wants to make his own name. But I'm like, son, the anointing is on your name already. All you got to do is acknowledge it. That's all you got to do. Honor it. Even if she didn't bother to get to know you, honor her. And the musical gift will fall on you. Because you the last flap. And that boy can play that trumpet. He can play that trumpet. I'm telling you, he can play. My grandson can play that trumpet. He gonna be one of the world-renowned trumpet players. He gonna be up there. My son, Jeremiah Flack, is gonna be up there. He gonna be up there. That's my grandson. He gonna be up there. Watch. Watch. I told y'all, there's this musical play in New York that's trying to get on Broadway, and they contacted him about coming to New York to play, to audition for the play. And he went up there and kicked ass. And the crazy part, his grandmama, born and raised right in New York City, and she don't even know she got a grandson that's blowing up in New York. And she was born and raised there. And he blowing up right there in New York City, and she don't even know. See, my kid's mama, my kid's now 40 and 39. Last time I saw my kid's mama, they was 2 and 3. That's the last time I saw her. I don't know if she dead or alive. Ain't got nothing but respect for the girl. Because she got out, she stayed out. I don't know nothing about baby mama drama. Nothing. I know absolutely nothing about baby mama drama. My kid's mama got out, she stayed out. And I respect that. Because it gave me the chance to build a foundation. See, and I had to fill up that cup of love. What was missing from her, man, I had to pour extra from in my cup to compensate for her cup. Did I make mistakes? Yes. Because I was learning how to be a dad through trial and error. My grandmama raised me. So shit. What worked for my grandmama, gonna have to work for me. And my grandmama was tough, boy. I ain't joking. So if it worked for my grandmama, man, it's gonna work for me. That was my mindset. And I was no nonsense. I was no nonsense, boy. I ain't lying. No nonsense. I told my kids, I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I'm gone. DC Public Schools did well by my children. Both of my kids went out of the country through DC Public Schools. My daughter went to Norway. My son went to Brazil. Because I was walking the halls. See, I knew I didn't have patience. I was a street vendor. And I'd be at the house sometimes 2:33 in the morning going to get my vending spot and be there until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. That's how my days went. And I didn't have the patience to do homework. And I knew I didn't have the patience to sit down and do homework. So what I did, I walked my kids' halls to find out. And every day, I asked what you need? Anything I need to know? Every day I ask my kids, man, anything I need to know? Because I hate the surprises. And if I'm asking you every day, is there anything I need to know? See, you can't come and, oh, Daddy, I forgot. I'm asking you every day, anything I need to know? See, when you tell me the truth, I'll give you a pass. But if you lie to me, you're going to create a monster. That's what I told my kids. Tell me the truth. But if you lie to me, you're gonna create a monster. And that's just how I dealt with my kids. Tell me the truth, okay? And that's how I had this teacher, Miss Washington. She said, Mr. Folden, get Deshaun involved in Youth for Understanding. They're sent all over the world. And I got my daughter involved in it. And they sent her, and all we had to do was get her passport and give her some spending money. They took care of everything else. And when my daughter went to Norway at 16 years old, that girl came back. We went to the airport to pick her up. She was crying like a baby. Ah, ah. I said, baby, what is the matter with you? Daddy, I'm so glad to see black people. Because when she was in Norway, she was the only one. She was the only one. You know, they never seen black folk before. So that was, that was special. But she cried like a baby though. I'm so glad to see black people. I don't know what to do. Okay, and then and right after that, I put my son on deck, man. You next. Let's go. You getting in. And my son was the student representative on the Board of Education for DC Public Schools. I had to fight for that and won. They they sent out all the requirements for students to run for this office. My son filled out all his paperwork, and he was the only one to send the paperwork in. And so when we go down today, because he was running unopposed, another kid walked in and had 10 classmates with him, and they said, oh, we're going to open up the election again. And the other kid won. I said, man, y'all ain't doing that to my son. Paul Vance, he came from Montgomery County to D.C., and he was in Ballou High School in Southeast. And I told him, I said, Mr. Vance, what you do to other students, I could care less. But you ain't gonna screw over my son like this, the way you treating him with this election. And William Lockridge was sitting next to him. He was Ward's 8 representative on the Board of Ed, was punching him like this here, don't mess with him. Don't mess with him. Because I told Mr. Van, I said, man, you'll wake up in your dreams, and I'm going to be in it. Because I'm going to follow you everywhere until you correct this. So what they did, it used to be one student that sat on the Board of Education. So to compromise, they let both students sit on and now 2 students. That's why 2 students now sit on the Board of Education in Washington, D.C. because of my fight for my son. And matter of fact, we had this paper called the City Paper. Oh, let me see if I can look it up. Let me see if City Paper still got that. Let's see if they still City Paper. Okay. Let's see. Let me see if they still got that story in memory. Where you search? What can you search in here? Oh, I know how I can do it. Hold on a second. I know exactly how I can do it. It is. It is. Hold on a second. I'm gonna show y'all. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all. And then I'm done. All right. It's called the that's what it's called. The father factor. Right here. This was August the 3rd, 2001. Persistent political candidate Don Folden Sr. gets back in the race, this time for his 17-year-old son. Persistent political candidate Don Folden Sr. gets back in the race, this time for his son. 17-year-old Don Folden Jr. figured that the June election for the student member of the D.C. Board of Education was just a formality. He was the only student who signed up to run for the spot, and by June 8th deadline. And when he showed up at Eastern Senior High School for the first day of a two-day election the next week and saw that he was the only name on the ballot, he felt pretty confident. I kind of figured, I guess I got it, says Donald, of the year-long position, which allows the city's sole student member to introduce resolutions, make motions, and speak at most school board gatherings. Student members can vote, however, only in assigned committee meetings. Shortly before Donald began his campaign speech in front of student leaders from across the city at Eastern, the election administrator, Michonne Peck, acting director of student affairs for D.C. Public Schools, called for nomination for the post from the floor. Another kid raised his hand to nominate himself. When I saw all the people that second him, I thought, oh no, recalls Donald. School system officials would not release the name of Donald's competitor. Donald would have to wait one more day to learn the outcome of the race. On the second day of the election, the two contenders campaigned before a crowd of elementary students, leaders gathered by Logan Professional Development Center in Northeast DC. The competition was stiff. Donald says, but he tried to stay positive. My opponent was passing around candy and a little piece of paper that said, vote for me, says Donald. I didn't have any candy and paper, but the students all told me I looked like rapper Nelly. When I went up there to the podium to give my speech, they were yelling, Nelly, Nelly, so I thought I won. But Donald's false celebrity appeal wasn't enough to win a majority. When the votes were counted, Peck announced that Donald's opponent had won. He jumped up with his hands in the air. I was looking at him like he doesn't know what he's getting into, Donald says. Donald's father, recurring political candidate Don Folden Sr., could not have told him that there are no easy political campaigns. The elder Folden is a former street vendor who has run in several citywide political competitions and never won. Though Donald lost the initial count, his father's political combativeness has helped to put this particular school yard race back into contention. Known for his characteristic white straw hat and his tendency to speak out at almost any gathering, Folden Sr. has campaigned unsuccessfully once for mayor and three times for an at-large spot on D.C. City Council. Enough for the Washington Post to dub him a perennial candidate. Okay? When Folden found out that another candidate had entered his son's race at the last minute and won, he challenged the election, arguing that his son's opponent had failed to complete the application by deadline, that the entire election had taken place after the required date outlined in D.C. municipal regulations. He demanded that his son be declared the winner. See, this is the problem. Most folk be fighting and don't understand the rules that they're trying to fight against. And see, and because I have been involved, I knew that there's a deadline for paperwork. They had a deadline. under DC municipal regulations. And they ignored the deadline, which means they wrong. So they must think I'm stuck on stupid or something, says Folden. They tell me that my grievance is sustained, but they don't give me anything I asked for. It look like I'm gonna have to go to court. For the elder Folden, struggle is really an everyday thing. His previous experience, personal, professional, and political, have been anything but easy. He plays single pops to his two kids, Dawn and older daughter Deshawn, since they were toddlers. When Folden moved them to his mother's home and the kids' mom skipped town. With his mother's help, Folden supported the family for years on his small income selling incense, t-shirts, and other goods, and ends from a vending stand located on 4th Street across from the parking lot that would later become Judiciary Square, the heart of city government. In 1999, he opened a store on Georgia Avenue called the African Tabletop, which specialized in African-themed dinnerware. He didn't make enough to pay the rent and closed the shop less than a year later. He now peddles the dishes from his home via brochure in a black binder that he carries with him. Folden's foray into district politics began in '94 when he campaigned in a crowded Democratic mayoral primary that included the so-called Big Three: Marion Barry, Sharon Pratt Kelly, and John Ray. I cut my teeth on John Ray, okay? Folden wasn't intimidated by the big guns and spoke out ferociously on topics ranging from school system woes to the need for better drug rehab services. But he spent much of his campaign struggling to be included in political forums, which often restricted to his bigger name competitors. Called the angry candidate by some, Folden didn't back down when challenged. When Ray allegedly called him a nothing, a nobody, Folden confronted Ray outside of the D.C. polling office on primary day and demanded an apology. The request resulted in a scuffle with Ray's supporters, and the confrontation ended up on the local news. Look back in anger, 10/14/94. Listen, our second day of campaigning, John Ray knew my stepfather real well. And, so I was kind of open to, being nice to the guy. And never will forget, man, we was at this church at 8th and 8th Street, Northeast, doing this for. I sat down. Mr. Ray was sitting to my left. And I said, "Good morning, Mr. Ray. How you doing?" John Ray looked at me and said, "Mr. Folden, you're nothing, you're nobody, and you don't count." "What did you say?" And he said, "You're nothing, you're nobody, and you don't count." Now, mind you, we sitting in church. I looked at John Ray and I said, "Motherfucker, you're going to regret that till the day you die." That's just what I told him. And every chance I got to put my foot in John Ray's ass, I did. Okay? So, Carl Rowan Jr. was John Ray's manager. And they had Sharon Pratt Kelly's volunteers crying that they was intimidating them so bad. And every time one of his people wanted to talk to me, they was always putting their hands on me. And I went to Mr. Ray. I said, "Listen, Mr. Ray, I don't mind your people saying what they saying, But please ask your people to not put their hands on me. I'm asking you nicely, sir, to tell them to stop. So the day of this, we were at Bacchus Junior High School, the busiest precinct in Washington, D.C., on South Dakota Avenue. And I go to the precinct and I go outside and I see Mr. Ray coming down the alley with his campaign staff, and a television camera was following him. Fox 5 News. So he walks up to me and say, Mr. Folden, you're invited to my victory celebration tonight. You're invited. You can come to my victory celebration tonight. I looked at Mr. Ray. I said, man, only thing I want from you is an apology. And when I said that, one of his workers tried to body his way in between us. And in the bushes we went. In the bushes we went. I had my suit on, my hat, everything. In the bushes we went. And I went to the hospital. Because I told them, I want to go to the hospital. So they sent an ambulance, take me to the hospital. In the meantime, he was kicking Marion Barry's ass. And when the news came out that I had got into a confrontation with one of John Ray's volunteers, man, and they showed that shit, man, Barry kicked John Ray's ass. All right, let me finish reading this. Despite that last minute publicity, Folden came in dead last, garnering 189 votes to Barry's 66,000. That loss didn't stop him from running again in 95, this time in special election to fill Barry's Wardette seat, which Barry had given up to become mayor. Folden got 41 votes, the lowest tally, but well below what was needed to win. Folden came in last again in 1996 election for one of the two large campaign seats, notorious for a near fistfight he had with incumbent Harold Brazil, who was angered by Folden's criticism of his council record. Folden didn't even make it to the voting day during this political effort in 2000 when he tried once again for a spot at DC Council. He dropped out because his nominating signatures were challenged. They're not ready for a person like me, Folden says of his losses. I'm not for sale. I'm not going to suck up to anybody. Folden swears the 2000 campaign was his last, though he made that the same promise in the past. But there's not a day that someone don't come up to me and say, man, you speak the truth. Are you going to run again? Folden shakes his head and let out a long, no, he asks. People want you to keep running into a brick wall. We're sitting in the food court at One Judicial Square across the street from where Folden once peddled his knickknacks to passersby. He suggested a meeting place. This is my home, he said. In a sense, Folden never stops selling or campaigning. He's friendly and animated, and he discusses his son's plight, but he's constantly distracted by people walking past. He run off to shake hands or to give hugs. When an advisory neighborhood commissioner from his area passes by, Folden warns him that the kids can access pornographic websites on computers at local libraries. I'm just telling you because because it's your single member district, Folden tells the commissioner. Let's see. Let me skip down. Let me see. Despite his tenacious campaign, Folden insists that his latest endeavor is personal, not political. I made a promise that if I ever had kids, I'd stick with them. If nothing else, both my children know daddy's going to fight for them. Folden attended the first day of the June student member election with his son. When he saw that another contender had been allowed to run from the floor, he wrote a note to the student government sponsor at his son's school saying he didn't think the late entry was fair. He later charged down to the school system main office on North Capitol Street Northeast to deliver his complaint in person. That outburst got him an informal meeting with Peck. Folden also filed a formal complaint, and he attended a grievance hearing at the school system office 2 weeks ago. It was after that hearing that Ralph Neal, assistant superintendent for students and support services, issued his decision. He agreed that the election had taken place after the deadline and listed in city guidelines, and he determined to hold the election for the student spot again. He also decided to issue a student government handbook prior to all races in the future, which would clearly explain all the guidelines, including whether to allow a nomination from the floor. I felt to be fair to both parties, not only the one person who won, but also to be fair to Mr. Folden's son, we should have the entire election process over in September after school started, says Neal. We hope not to upset anyone. We just want to be fair. The decision didn't comfort Folden. This really has the potential to disenfranchise my son from being involved in the political process even before he gets started. Donald is currently on a month-long student exchange program in Manaus, Brazil. He gets updates from his dad via telephone, and he says that he'll go ahead and do over if his father's legal efforts fail. Donald will be a senior at Phelps Career Senior High School this fall. After graduating, he hopes to go to Howard University and study drama and someday become an actor. He says he doesn't plan a career in politics, but he doesn't rule it out either. Donald's father, however, hoped that there will finally be a political will in the family, even as there's another race Folden figures his son has a good shot. He has name recognition now, period. The one thing I hope I had provided for him. And that's just how I am, man. And this was back in, what? When was this? August 3rd, 2001. And this is 2023. And I'm still fighting. I'm still the same. I'm still doing the same thing. And people don't think I'm real. They think I'm a fake. They think I'm a phony. And right here, this shows you, man. This is the truth conductor then, but I hadn't discovered it. See, I was operating as the truth conductor then, but I wasn't discovered. I hadn't discovered the personality. And like I told you, man, you got to teach people how to treat you. And for all of the people that get on here talking about, what a fake I am, what a hustler I am, what a con artist I am, that shows you right there. Okay, that'll show you right there. Matter of fact, and let me and I'm gonna say this because the article is called, if you Google the father factor city paper, it'll come up. Google the father factor city paper, and it'll come up. Oh, they mentioned another article in here. Let me see. By Harold Brazil. I didn't, okay. Let me see. Let me look this article up. Let me look this one up. Let's see what this one is. All right, let's see. Let's see what this is all about. Look back in anger. All right. No, that's not. So, but that's it. That's me. That's me right there. And I haven't changed. I'm still the same. All right, man. Let me get out of here. I'll see y'all later.